Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Over-Under on a Wednesday night at 9 p.m. My name is Harry the Greek. I am your host this evening.
And I am not Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. I'm actually Peter Blake, host of The Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I thought I was going to actually have a night off tonight, but you get stuck with me. You get stuck with yours truly. We'll be talking about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a big day of signings. Definitely want to hear your reaction. What's that number again?
727-320-5866. We're going to be back in 30 seconds. We're going to be live, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Signings, handicapping, gambling, NCAA, everything and anything. You have any questions or comments? Leave a comment or make sure you call in. See you in 30. Well, that was kind of interesting.
It was kind of interesting. It really was.
You know, just out of curiosity, just want to make sure. I mean, we did do a sound check over on Peter Blake's page.
We did.
But I could not for the life of me hear that countdown from 30
I couldn't hear
0.
it either. So it kind of a little bit worried me there. So we have to test the phone lines out. We tested everything else out.
No, the phone lines do work. They work just fine. I'm just kind of curious. Someone's got to leave a comment. Can you guys hear us? Or are we doing the Chinese movie thing?
Right. Well, I can see the mixer right now moving. So
I can see that too. And you know what? I see someone in our back room right now.
He's saying yes.
A thumbs up.
So we'll get him on in just a little bit in case you didn't hear the breaking news of the day.
Yeah, Peter, give us that breaking news today.
Well, it was reported at 9:45 this morning. And actually, we got a phone call.
No, we're not taking that one.
We're not taking that phone call?
Oh, no.
Okay, no one won't take that phone call.
Oh, no.
But Donovan Smith signed an extension, a multi-year extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2 years, a total of $31.8 million, which in turn freed up $10 million with the salary cap. And then with that move, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-signed Ndamukong Suh. I originally thought it was 1 year, $9 million.
No, they're saying it's $10 million.
According to Adam Schefter, it's 1 year, $10 million. So what are your thoughts on these big time moves by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And everybody's writing in right now. So obviously they can hear us just fine. I want to hear from you guys tonight. 727-320-5866 and 727-320-5866.
I'm pretty impressed.
Thank you.
You actually know a phone number other than yours.
I know. And I was thinking about, and people are going to try to call my phone number. Don't call my phone number tonight. My phone is off limits today.
I'm actually getting phone calls for you on my number.
Really?
No, I mean off air. I'm not kidding you.
That's not surprising.
No, it was actually pretty cool. I actually got to talk football with someone for about 20 minutes. You actually
they thought that you were on the show.
No,
was it Dan Williams?
Mr. Williams.
And Mr. Williams. I love Mr. Williams.
Oh, he's awesome. And the guy's so knowledgeable as well.
He is. He knows his stuff.
What else is going on? I mean, so many signings. Did you see who the Bears picked up?
I did see who they picked up.
Damian Williams.
Of course, you got Roger Shue coming in there. He's a big-time Bears fan, so we'll definitely get the Chicago Bears side of things. And then, of course,
the Jets are making good signings.
Yes.
The Bears have made good signings. The Bucs have signed everybody. There's really nothing to talk about.
Well,
they got the whole gang back together.
There's
Peter.
Plenty of things to talk about. Carl says, and let me go ahead and read this really quick. And this is from Adam Schefter himself. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still talking to representatives for running back Leonard Fournette and wide receiver Antonio Brown. Sources tell ESPN those are two big remaining Bucs free agents who have yet to re-sign, of course, for 2021. As defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh is finalizing a 1 year, $10 million deal to stay with Tampa. I heard it was 1 year, $9 million. But at the end of the day, what the Bucs have done just today and over this process, what are your thoughts on it? Over under here, percentage that the Bucs were going to sign the majority of their free agents at the beginning of the. Yes, I'm asking you now. Right now. I mean, beforehand, what was your percentage?
I was going to say there was no way they could keep the big three.
It's been amazing, right?
Levante David and Shaq Barrett and Chris Godwin. I thought there was no way.
Yeah.
Because if they signed one of them,
right,
they had to be able to lose the other one. I didn't think there was going to be enough money to even go around to do that.
Sure.
But not only did they sign the big three, they got them all.
Yeah.
Every last one of them.
Yeah. I've got most of them. Leonard Fournette should. They're still working on it.
I still don't think they're going to be able to sign them. But you know what?
Well, here's the thing, though. It was told, it was, what we were told and what has been reported, Harry, was the fact of, and again, professional handicapper Harry the Greek here on the Over Under Live here on Bucks Report.
Oh, you're going to make me blush.
Absolutely, man. This is your show, but I'm just a co-host. But what we were told at the beginning of this whole process was that the Patriots were looking at him, and consequently, according to Mike Giardi of the NFL Network, they re-signed James White today.
Yeah, and that's when I posted on my own social media page.
So does that eliminates the Patriots from contention? You also have Seattle. They re-signed a Chris Carson. So you would think, what other deals are out there for Leonard Fournette?
But you can't look at it that way. When the Bears turned around and they made that big signing,
why can't you?
But I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
Because you can never have too many running backs on one team, and he's not going to command all that money. And if that's the case, and no one's going to really pay him that money, why not stay here and get another Lombardi?
I agree. But what's holding it up? I mean, how much money does he really want, and how much are the Bucks? He's going to have to
come to reality, because obviously no one's beating down his door.
Unless there is somebody out there that's beating down his door.
That could be.
The comments are ridiculous right now, bro.
I'm going to have to get into the comments.
You definitely got to get to get to the comments here. I'm almost like
Jeremiah Hafner. Hi, everyone. Hey, Jeremiah. Adam Padermo Rivera. I'm just going to call you the Big A. What's going on, Peter and Harry? Nothing much. I do appreciate you tuning in tonight.
Plenty of stuff going on.
Christopher Cole, hear you loud and clear. Thank you. And the troll on Peter's show, but my buddy on this show, Mr. Roger Shue.
I love that
Go
guy.
Bears.
I wish I had my sound effect right now, but my good buddy Roger Shue.
We're not giving him a bad sound effect. I like Roger.
Well, you don't even know the guy.
No, that's all I got to know. The man's a Bear fan. He likes me. He's been really cool. All I got to do is get him to call in one time.
Well, I'm telling you should call in. 727-320-5866. It's 727-320-5866. Go ahead.
Carl Hardy. Who else is going to re-sign? That's a great question. I mean, you still have Ndamukong Suh.
Right. You got him.
You have Leonard Fournette. And then you have a couple of other free agents that are going to have they're going to still have to be able to retain enough money.
Well, the two big ones that everybody is kind of have their eyes on was Antonio Brown and is Leonard Fournette. Right. And you go back to the comments.
Why do we forget about Antonio? I don't get that.
Because he only had 45 receptions last year. He played half of the year. But I'm telling you right now, with everybody saying or discounting the fact of Brown coming back to this wide receiving core, can you imagine? Again, you have Evans, you have Godwin, and you bring back Brown, who's the number one wide receiver, when he is fully entrenched into this offense, because you only got him for a half a year. Did you see how he played later on? When he came in and he was comfortable, can you imagine having him for a full year?
It would be scary, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've heard it in other shows, just not on Buck Report. They arguably have probably the best wide receiver core in football. And you potentially have three number ones on one team.
Agree.
But again, I keep saying that there's only one football to go around. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole like I did before and criticize the Buccaneers for getting Antonio Brown, because I was wrong.
Well, I was wrong too.
That was a great signing.
But I also said give it a chance, and they gave it a chance. And
he's been a model citizen.
He has been on and off the field.
You know what? You know what the common denominator is?
What's up?
Tom Brady.
There you go.
Period.
That's it. That's the Brady
Next
effect.
Comment? No, we're not going to read that one.
I don't know why I wrote that.
Hello,
right.
Adam. My Giants making good signings. They sure did. Let me tell you something. That NFC East, it's going to be very competitive in a two-team race. And I'm not talking about the Cowboys and Washington. I'm talking about Washington and the Giants.
Some of the Giants picks Adoree Jackson. I mean, that's a good pickup.
And if Adoree Jackson's a hell of a pickup, to be honest with you. And they
young
also
player. I don't think he necessarily lived up to the potential that the Titans had for him. But you look, they definitely tried to improve that secondary.
They're getting Saquon Barkley back.
Well, you get Saquon Barkley back. You've got to get Saquon Barkley back at this point. Go to comments. There, you're missing out.
I know. I just had to do something else. Adam again. We just said that, Mr. Adam.
Yes.
Oh, God. You know what, Adam? You got to keep up with us, buddy. Jesse Holt. Go Bucks. Yes, you got two Patriot players with you.
Okay, well, yeah, they got two Patriot players. Yeah, that's Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski.
Gronk and Brady.
Right. They got him re-signed.
Patriots are desperate now. I don't agree with that. The Patriots are going to be a really good team in the AFC
I don't
East.
necessarily think the Patriots are desperate, but it's about the complexion of the league, right? It's changed now because Tom Brady won a Super Bowl. You kind of don't necessarily like free agency. A lot of the pundits say, it's dangerous and what the Bucs have done free agency wise. NFL teams see this and they go, you know what? We can get a veteran quarterback. We can get free agents. We can surround it. We can make this work. And I think the Patriots look at the situation of Brady won a Super Bowl his first year. We got to put more weapons around a Cam Newton. We have all this money. Not only that, we got to improve our defense. And they may have. And look, again, at the end of the day, on paper, it looks great. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out.
That's absolutely correct. Look what happened to Washington 10 years ago when they started signing all those big-time players 10, 15 years ago. It doesn't make you a superstar.
But what it does is it makes you competitive.
Correct.
Right.
However, with that being said, Washington wasn't even competitive back then.
Well, they're terrible.
But no, I'm talking about back then.
Oh, yeah.
With the Hainsworth deal and everything else that used to come through, and Dan Snyder was going and they were paying all that money. I mean, it was just unreal.
Right.
But what the Patriots have done have made them relevant again. Plus, they're going to be getting a lot of those players back that opted out from COVID.
Sure.
This is not a joke. This team is going to ball out this year. I have already bet this team on the over 7 wins in Vegas. I've already bet it.
For the Patriots.
And I've bet a lot of money on this because I really believe, and I'm not a Patriot fan.
Right.
But I've never been known
My
to bet
problem
with my
is
heart.
Cam Newton.
That's true, Cam Newton. But I think year 2 in the system, I think it's going to be a little bit different. Let's get back to the comments.
Maybe.
And we can bring someone on the show.
Sure.
Christopher Cole, over under. Do they extend Ryan Jensen or Kappa? What do you think? I'm going to let you take that one.
I mean, for me, I would extend Kappa, but I certainly wouldn't, find it out of the realm of possibility to, do something different with Ryan Jensen because I believe he only has 1 year left. So maybe he wants to sign an extension. I'm not sure. It's a good question.
That is, I'm going to have to go in the middle, or I might actually have to pass.
Kappa deserves an extension,
Yes,
but I tell you right now, you definitely have some depth there with Aaron Steiny, the way he played and came in and filled in for Kappa when he got hurt late in the year. So the Bucs have a good problem there.
Jeremiah, who we're going to draft? To ask me that question, I'm going to tell you the gentleman that I'm going to have on here in the next 5 minutes. He has probably a draft guru.
Better, you ready for this? Best player available.
That's what I said.
But it's great because you look at the Bucs right now. If they re-sign a Fournette, if they re-sign a Brown, but even if they don't re-sign those players, what do they need? What are their big time needs here? What does this team need?
Listen. If one of the top quarterbacks, hypothetically, if they were to drop down to it, you'd be foolish not to take it.
I don't think there's anybody that's coming at 32.
Okay, I'm just saying, let's just say there was. Okay, or let's just say they're only a slot away or a spot away, and you think that person's going to take him, you give up someone in the draft. You have so much flexibility. And I'm not saying the Buccaneers are going to do that. But what I think the Bucs are going to do on the first pick is they're going to take the best player available, whether it's a defensive player, a wide receiver, a running back, it doesn't make a difference.
Maybe a running back.
They could. Absolutely.
Maybe a Najee Harris if you lose the Leonard Fournette because you got the victim of volume and a Ronald Jones. I know you want to do the echo, but we don't have to do that. But
I know we don't have to.
If you lose Fournette, you have Keyshawn Vaughn. Maybe you go with the Travis Etienne, which is what we talked about from Clemson, or Najee Harris from Alabama, or you get a defensive tackle and a Barrymore.
There's so many players in this draft.
So many ways you can go, but you don't necessarily have to draft for need. That's the great thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I tell you right now, I don't necessarily think the NFL likes this. I think they're kind of afraid of it because the Bucs have kind of set themselves up for, again, like I've said, Super Bowl or bust with all the signings. Say that again? Super Bowl or bust.
You heard it first, right here, and live.
That's it.
But you know one thing I will say? That the Buccaneers are in a position that no other team in the National Football League is in right now. Nobody.
No.
They can take the best player available.
Even Kansas City can't even do that. Can't even say that.
They can't because they have a lot of holes to fill.
Of course
you
they
know what
do.
I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in our draft expert.
Well, I tell you what, read the rest of these comments.
Jeremiah,
here.
The kid from Wisconsin. That could be.
O-line. I mean, I don't know if you draft O-line. I mean, I guess you could, but you look at the O-line overall, they're very happy with Donovan Smith with that extension today. You have to be very happy with the Tristan Wirfs, Ryan Jensen.
I'll tell you what, that was long awaited. People can hate me for saying this, but he really had a
People are calling me, don't call my number, please, because I'm not going to answer, guys.
Call 727-320-5866. 727-320-5866. I'm your host, Harry the Greek, alongside with Mr. Great Peter Blake.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Antonio Brown. Seattle was offering me $15 million, but I'm trying to stay with my boy Brady.
Okay, I don't believe this. I think this is
if it is him.
It's not him, because there's no way that Antonio Brown is getting $15 million. Now, sir, you are not Antonio Brown.
I hope he does.
Would you shut up and be quiet? Even if he is, we don't want him to hear that. All right, go on.
Javier Falcon. I heard AB to the Saints. Is that true?
No,
I've actually heard that as well, but they can't afford him, so we're going to go on to the next one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Smilegate. Oh, I like that one.
How can I
Joshua, I know Joshua's in the back room hearing that one. Which one is this? Deflategate, Smilegate, Harrygate?
This is Smilegate. How can I get an autograph of Peter Blake? I give you an autograph if you want one. That's cool.
Chris, favorite show right now. Really appreciate all you guys. Hard work. Go Bucks. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate the compliment.
Absolutely. I tell you what, let's go out to Kenny. You miss Kenny there.
Kenny, I don't remember, but this has to be the best 2 off seasons we've had in a long time.
Don't you think that? Over under. Is this the best off season the Bucks have had?
You'll never see this again. And you probably won't see it in the National Football League for the next 20 years.
What's better, last offseason when you get Tom Brady or this one when you re-sign all these players?
It has to be this one, Peter, because, I mean, it was great what they did last year. But you don't understand.
But you set it up. You set it up to succeed.
Not only did they set it up, Peter, but they have actually been able to collectively say, hey, we're going to bring the tribe back.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
No, they bring the band back together. Absolutely. Somebody.
Chris, favorite show right now. Really appreciate all you guys.
To read that again.
Oh, I had to do that. We could go back to the.
You're patting yourself on the back. Again. That's okay. That's all right. That's what we do here at Buck Support.
What y'all think about trading back to get more picks?
Certainly a possibility. I mean, again, if you don't necessarily feel like there's a player on the board that you want at that point, and you can get somebody, you can sucker somebody to get up to that position. Maybe there's a quarterback like you talked about that drops down, that a team that needs a quarterback, maybe you pick up a first-round pick next year, and you could do that trading down, and there's still a player on the board that you feel is comparable to that 32nd pick. Why not?
I agree.
Plenty of options this year.
My buddy Roger Shoe, I'll sell you one for $1.50.
And see, that's the reason why he's a troll right there. That's the reason why, Roger Shoe, you fat finger troll.
Hey, Roger.
I get on you.
Keep it coming. Dude.
Yeah, just keep it coming. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'll ban you.
Tony Edney, it's a good chance quarterback Mac Jones could fall down to draft us. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not wishing this, but Mac Jones, they have him going to the Bears this year. Please, Lord, don't let that happen.
Now it's a possibility. You got
believer.
Russell Wilson possibly getting traded there.
That. Jeremiah, Pete, don't even answer his phone.
It's not true. I answer my phone all the time, Jeremiah. You don't call anymore. We don't hear from you. We don't hear your drunken rants or you laughing or cutting up and calling the sports web. I miss that.
Christopher Cole, by the way, thanks for leaving a comment, Christopher. We know we can count on you. That's why I like Greenberg and Victoria make the big bucks.
Absolutely.
And Ellen Rappaport. Is AB signing with the Bucks? Who knows? Ellen Rappaport. Why do I fall into this? You know what?
Is that Ian's wife?
I have no idea. But you know what I am going to do? Without further ado, I'm going to bring in somebody that makes everybody smarter.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I have to say that.
We're all more intelligent when Jacob Charnow gets in here. But you got to go to that shot. Here. There you go.
Jacob, how the hell are you, brother?
What's up, guys? I'm doing really well. I'm doing fantastic. You can't hear me?
No audio, Jacob.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We don't got Jacob.
Oh, that's unusual.
But yes, it is very unusual.
Is that me?
Okay. Yeah. Jacob?
What's up? Can you guys hear me?
No, there you go. You push the button. It's always one button, right?
That was the button you pushed.
Oh, that was the button I pushed?
I'm sitting here like knocking on everything in my set. I'm like thinking
knocking on right. Look what's going on here. It's always the one button. That's what Keith Larson used to tell me. It's one button. It was always one button.
So. I got to ask you a question.
What's up? Because
truly, you study these draft boards unlike anybody else. Because I told you, I'll compare mine to yours any day you want. I know I'm going to win. You know why?
You got one pick.
I got one pick, baby. Yeah, I know where that first pick is going after that. You guys are dreaming. Because after pick 4, good luck with that. Because if anybody goes 50% and you show me and you go ahead and text it to that phone number that's the bottom of the screen, anybody that goes over 50% in the first 20 picks, I will buy you dinner at Outback Steakhouse. 727-320-5866. Text me your draft board. First 20 picks, you give me 50%. You get dinner on the Greek.
Wow. How about that? The big guns there. Outback Steakhouse. Gotta love it. That's awesome.
What do you got, Jacob? Who's going to the Bucks?
Okay, here. I wrote down a few names.
Hang on. And I'm going to give you 3 picks to go to the Bucks.
Okay. I actually wrote down a few names that you guys should hear. Okay? Because like I said, this isn't all mock drafts. You're not going to be right? None of my mock draft, whoever I have go to the Bucks, pick 32 in my random mock draft right now, during the middle of free agency, it means nothing. But I'm going to list off a few positions, a few names that you should expect. Running backs. Travis Etienne, absolutely fall to 32. And Kenneth Gainwell, who Andrew Forbert, he was on my show yesterday. He mentioned him. Big name out of Memphis, very underrated guy. I think there's a chance that he ends up actually being the best running back out of this 2021 draft class. Offensive line, Jalen Mayfield. If he is sitting there at 32,
how's he supposed to be sitting there?
I don't know. I
Jalen
really,
Mayfield. This guy's gonna get taken in the top 15, isn't he?
Jalen Mayfield and Samuel Cosme are two names to absolutely look at. And I think
who do you have going first?
I have Jalen. I had Samuel Cosme going first in my most recent draft. But Jalen Mayfield is an absolute monster.
I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling good about this.
You know what? You know what, Harry? I have another month. I'll give you my final mock draft on April 28th, the day before the draft. Okay, that's what you'll get. Edge rushers. I think you guys could go. You guys could get younger at edge rusher. Absolutely. With a guy like JPP, I know you have him back, but you don't know how long he's actually. You don't know about his health or anything. You could definitely get younger, get some more depth at that position. Azeez Ojulari and Joseph Osai, two names to look at, and then. I know you guys aren't going to want to admit it, but you guys could definitely draft a corner in the first round if it's best player available. If Greg Newsome is sitting at 32 or Eric Stokes at 32, snag them up. Those guys are both possible. I think Greg Newsome is one of my favorite corner prospects in the entire draft, but both of them, him and Stokes, could absolutely be great corners for your team next year. So those are some names to look at pick 32 on April 29th.
So would you disagree with me, or would you agree with me if I said it's not necessarily has to be a sexy pick? They could just take the best player available because they really don't have any needs on this team right now.
No, you're right. And I think that's why you could list off so many names. I don't think for any other team in the NFL right now, you could list off that many names and have all of them be good picks for this team. Right?
Yeah. They're definitely, you know what? They may actually trade even, further back. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if the best player available is around and there's a team in the second round that has to have that player, sure, they may just jump up, and Tampa only has to move back 2 spots and picks up another draft pick.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you could pick up possibly a first-round pick if it's quarterback, or if you can get a team to do that. We've seen that before. We've seen also the Patriots do that. Speaking of the Patriots,
I'm going to bring someone else in here. I'm going to bring in probably one of the best beat writers and one of the best people that put out articles is Mr.
Bucks Report, himself, Mr. JCA.
Why is my brain not working? JCA, okay. My apologies. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how great you are?
Yeah, I'm a humble guy. I'll let you guys do that.
That's okay. You are a Patriot fan. We get it.
All right, guys. I tell you what. Let's shift gears here. We've been talking about the Bucks draft, but first and foremost, Jacob, I got to ask you, and then we'll go to you, JCA. What are your thoughts on Donovan Smith, the re-signing today of him, and then, of course, getting Sue signed also?
I think getting Donovan Smith in there, extending him was huge. I mean, the end of last year, one of the best left tackles in the entire league after being one of the worst for the first half of the year after that bye week, man. He stepped up. It's fantastic to keep him around. I think it is huge. And then to get Sue back in the building, to get Sue back in there, I mean, keep this defensive line stack, keep this defense together, get the band back together, make another Super Bowl run for Super Bowl 53. What are we at next year?
56.
56. Guys, yeah. I'm losing track of time at this point.
You've been making too many mock drafts. You know what? The same question for Joshua. What do you think, bud?
I thought it was great. Obviously a great move. It's something that I kind of saw coming down the works. They need to open up cap space desperately. Donovan Smith had 0 guaranteed money left. Funny enough, Peter and the rest of us were all talking about him being a potential cap casualty coming out of this year if he didn't perform well due to the $14 million salary cap hit and not having any guaranteed money. But per Pro Football Focus, and shout out to Evan Winter for tweeting this out, Donovan Smith allowed 0 pressures out of true pass sets among tackles, with at least 157 pass block snaps from weeks 12 to 17, and just 3 pressures throughout the entire playoffs.
You know what? So that's a really good observation. But I really like to bust someone's bubble. Who else talked about that?
Oh, you were definitely a proponent on the whole Smith.
And you were as well, because when I brought it up and said, hey, this guy's not even giving up pressures.
Sure.
I said it's been totally different. But a lot of that's the Gronkowski effect.
And that's on top of it, that's the big thing. Gronkowski having him help on both sides of it. And people say, well, Gronkowski is not worth $10 million. Yes, he is, just because of the end line blocking alone, not only in the rushing game, but also in the passing game. If you watch the Washington football team tape there, you could see he was another left tackle. So with all that being said, Sue comes back here, Jacob. How surprised were you by that move? And in your opinion, what you see from him, do you still think he has something left in the tank to make this defensive line as potent as it was last year?
I'll be honest with you guys. I think every single signing, every single re-signing that you guys get, I'm more and more surprised, right? Didn't think you guys were going to be able to get Levante David back. Didn't think you guys would be able to get Shaq Barrett back. Didn't think you'd get Gronk back. I mean, I knew you'd get Gronk back, but none of these guys I thought would be able to re-sign, right? Just because of the cap situation, whatever, let alone all of them. So, I mean, I was surprised at Sue getting re-signed because, I mean, I just keep getting proven wrong by Jason Light and whoever runs the cap situation, like the cap room for the Bucks. I don't even know. But Sue, I think he has some left in the tank. You definitely need to get younger at that position, I think. And he probably has a year or two left in him. I think it's good to get him back just because of the chemistry that he already has with this team and the amount that this defensive line dominated, especially towards the end of last year and into that Super Bowl run that they went on.
What about you, JCA? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, we saw the impact that he had when Vita Vea went out next to guys like Nacho, Steve McClendon. He was really an anchor of that defense.
Hey, JCA, we're going to have to hold on that. I got to take this phone call coming in, okay?
All right, let's go out to the phone lines here. Who do we got?
Hey, how are you? Welcome to the Over Under. This is Harry the Greek with Peter Blake. Who are we talking to?
Hey, Kendrick Scott. How you doing, buddy?
Kendrick, Mr. Heavy himself. If anybody doesn't know who Kendrick is, he has the absolute best food truck.
Oh, nice.
All of Florida. It's just unbelievable.
You got to turn his volume up just a tad.
Kendrick, can you speak into the phone?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, it's a little bit low on my end. I just want to make sure everybody can hear.
What, take channel 3 and go ahead and turn the gain up a little bit. A little higher. Right there. Yep, it's all the way up. Perfect.
All right, go ahead.
What's on your mind, Kendrick? How are you, sir?
Hey, nothing much, man. I just have an opinion about the games that's coming up. It's probably going to be a shocker, but I'm thinking probably a 13 seed or a 15 seed will win the whole thing.
Which team are you liking? Obviously, you're talking about the NCAA, correct?
Yes, sir.
Which game do you like the best?
Oh, Harry, I hate to say on live. I hate to say on live. I'm just going to let you.
Who is it?
Spoke about this. I said, me and you have spoke about this team on several occasions, and I'm gonna let you voice your opinion about it. And what did we speak about when it first started, when the tournament first started, in reference to?
Are you talking about Loyola Chicago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. You and I both had the Loyola Chicago actually making it to the Sweet 16. With that being said, I don't know. They're 6.5-point favorites right now. Which way are you going to learn? Because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody respects the way I handicap and I play a lot of football. But if people out there really want to know, when I want a basketball line, the man that's on the telephone right now will probably forget more than I'll ever learn about college basketball. He is that good. When I tell you this guy makes thousands, I mean, he makes, in our industry, we call it stacking.
Nice.
And that man can stack them.
Stacking. I like it.
What do you like in that game? Loyola Chicago 6.5.
Take the points.
You serious? Lay the 6.5?
With confidence.
With confidence. They're going to beat Oregon State that badly.
With confidence. I mean, their inside presence with that big man. I mean, he can do it all. He can shoot the 10-footer. He got a post game. He can pass the ball when they double him. I mean, he's one of the best unknown big men in college basketball. He stopped one of the best big men in college basketball.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. I do appreciate it. How about one last game you want to go ahead and give all the viewers out there? UCLA and Bama. Bama's -6.
Take the 6. SEC. I mean, they're playing good basketball. Alabama's playing great basketball. I would take the solo. What's the solo over on that, Harry?
It's 145 is the over and under. You like the over?
No, the solo. What's the solo?
Oh, the solo? I have no idea. I never got that deep into it, but I will look into it. So far, you like Bama and you like Loyola. You know what? I appreciate you calling in. I'm going to go ahead and mark that down. But if you ever have any other questions, I would love to get you on the show, especially around baseball season and right around football season, because I'm telling you what, I respect your picks. Kendrick, I'll tell you what, I do want to tell people out there, where are you going to be this weekend with that truck of yours?
On Sunday, we'll be at 1045 16th Street South, St. Petersburg, Florida, from 11:30 until we sell out.
Yep.
And be glad to see some new customers come.
Man, I'll tell you what, you got the best ribs, best barbecue pork chops. I mean, the best. I mean, you have all your food is unbelievable. If anybody's ever heard it's Heavy's Food Truck, it's down in St. Pete. He's best in the Bay, and I'm not talking about Ray. This guy's food is actually off the chain.
Nice.
Anyway, Kendrick, really nice talking to you, man. Thank you so much for calling in the over and under.
Hey, celebrate. Hey, and one more thing before I let you go. Hey, anybody that comes to the truck on Sunday and mentions the show, you get 10% off.
Really?
All right.
Anybody that mentions the show, that the over and under or Bucks report gets 10% off.
There you go.
You're the man.
I gotta buy a ticket to St. Petersburg now, just for
There you go.
You got Jacob, I'm telling you, man, the food that they have there, it's unreal. The ribs, forget about it. Just like you say up there in Jersey, forget about it. All right.
You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll come up Sunday for lunch. I'll go to the Isla Deck Bar and Grill, and then for dinner, what am I having for dinner? I'm having the food truck.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah. That's all right. Good. That's okay. That's all right. Josh, we know what you meant. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, Namka Suh. So I thought it was a great signing, obviously. One that most of us expected back. We were talking the other day about him potentially waiting down the line until, as he usually does later in the offseason, with the Twins coming on the way and everything like that in his personal life, that he might, take a little bit longer to sign. But lo and behold, with that Donovan Smith deal, they opened up the necessary cap space to allow him to get that out of the way so he can focus more on his family and everything going on in his personal life. Now, what Ndamukong Suh brings is obviously a stout run defender, a guy who can get after the quarterback. He was fourth on the team last year in sacks with 6, added 1.5 sacks in the Super Bowl. And we saw how with next to Vita Vea, where he's being able to be, freed up and not double teamed on every play, his impact that he can have. And I don't think that drops off at all this coming season. The deal was great. $9 million with incentives up to $10 million. Actually a raise from his money last year, and Aaron Evan Winter wrote about that. He, deserves a raise more than a pay cut, which a lot of people, including myself, pegged him to possibly get. Maybe making that up in incentives. But the real kicker here comes with those lovely, lovely void years that the Buccaneers have been using so far. So with those void years, it's actually a 5-year deal. But obviously 4 of those years are void years. So what that allows them to do is take that money and spread it out across the entirety of the contract. So really, he's making $4 million against the cap this year, with 5 of that, with the rest of it stretched out. So his cap hit will only be around $4 million this year, which is absolutely beautiful.
Wow, that's actually. I don't
well,
know.
and that's the reason.
That's
the reason why you're able to sign a guy like a Leonard Fournette, possibly, or an Antonio Brown.
I just don't know if they're still going to be able to sign him. But I said that about 2 other players.
Right, Jacob. In your opinion, do you think the Bucs are going to be able to re-sign a Leonard Fournette and an Antonio Brown? And who's more likely? Is it Leonard Fournette? I mean, because all we hear about is the Patriots are supposedly going to offer him a contract. But now they re-sign a James White. So what do you think the holdup is? Can the Bucs get Fournette done?
I think it's more likely you guys bring AB back than it is Leonard Fournette. I think Leonard Fournette's market's going to be a lot bigger than Antonio Brown's. I think AB still has a lot left to prove. Right, he had one good season where he didn't. I mean, one season without incident, I guess you could say, for Antonio Brown. I get the Seahawks want to bring him in. I think he's going to want to stick around. He's living with Tom Brady. He's cleaned up his act. I think Tampa's the place for AB next season. I think Leonard Fournette's going to be gone, only because I think a lot of these teams aren't going to realize. I think, but we might not see Leonard Fournette get signed until after the draft, which is very possible. Teams that miss on running backs, teams that need a running back post-draft, Leonard Fournette is still a very, very solid back in this league. And I think a lot of people forget that just because of the amount of volume that he was getting last season.
All right, I have a question for you again.
I disagree with that, Jacob. I think that Leonard Fournette is coming back sooner rather than later.
We have a cat fight going on.
His market has been kind of dwindling with the signing of James White back in New England. They already have a stable of at least 3 running backs with the Sony Michel, Damian Harris, and now James White back in the fold. They also have the J.J. Taylor kid, I believe he's from Arizona, undrafted free agent they really like. I just don't see them bringing in the Leonard Fournette now. Well, it's still possible, and there are teams like the Dolphins and teams like the Steelers out there. We saw kind of the interview or the whatever you like, the Instagram post with Antonio Brown saying that they're both. Tom Brady we've already heard reports that he's actively trying to persuade Leonard Fournette to come back, and I think with the cap space they have. Whereas I do agree with you that I think his market is a little bit bigger than Antonio Brown's, where he needs to come back, prove for a full 16-game season he can stay out of trouble. Plus, he still has that lingering case above him as well. That's something that might scare some teams off. And then just what we saw Juju Smith-Schuster get. He only got $7 million with I think it was $1 million in incentives to bring it to an $8 million deal total. I don't think that kind of contract is out there for Antonio Brown. His best bet is just to come back, try to go for another ring, build up his value to enter the free agency market next year when there's going to be a lot of money. But Leonard Fournette is a guy who should have multiple suitors offering for multiple years, where the Bucs I think would only offer another 1-year deal, and that's something that he really has to contemplate. But again, 1-year deal, he wins the championship, he has a good season. Now he's going into an inflated cap situation where there's a lot of money being thrown around. Maybe he gets his bigger deal there. So I think those are 2 things that he's thinking about. Does he take the security in the longer term deal now for less money that he could potentially get next year, or does he come back, try to win a back-to-back championships and try to improve his reputation as well? Because that's another thing. The report came out back in December that he was almost cut because he was dissatisfied with his role. So while he played good soldier for most of the part last year, there was that report that come out. So it's going to be interesting to watch the whole situation.
You can almost take it as if, the management of Tampa Bay actually thought he was being selfish, because I do remember that when they were almost getting ready to cut him. But my $1 million question is this, okay? Take nothing away from Leonard Fournette, besides the fact of coming back to Tampa to go ahead and win another Lombardi. Why would he really want to come back when this is not a run first team? This is not a team that wants to run the ball 25 to 30 times. And Jacob, I want you to go ahead and answer that question, and I really want Joshua's opinion on this as well.
Yeah, I think especially when the fact that the Bucs could still draft a running back, if Leonard Fournette wants to be the guy somewhere, which it seems like, he left Jacksonville. I get Jacksonville was a dumpster fire, but it seemed like he really wanted to win. Why he came to Tampa in the first place? Probably to win football games, right? He wanted to be part of this Brady thing. I feel like if you're coming to the Bucs last year, you feel like you're going to win the Super Bowl. You feel like you're going there to get a ring. And yes, he ended up getting a ring, but now is it his time to go back and be the guy somewhere? The only problem is, where is he going to be that guy, right? There aren't a lot of run first teams. The Jets they might still be on the running back market. They just signed Tevin Coleman today. I could see the Steelers doing it, but I'm still pretty confident that the Steelers end up drafting a running back. I think they end up drafting Najee Harris in the first round. But if Leonard Fournette's market really dwindles that much, like Joshua says it is, and I trust him. He's one of the most connected guys with the Bucs on all of Bucs Report, probably the most connected guy with the Bucs on all of Bucs Report. I trust him, and I think that it would definitely make sense if you can get him back to bring him back to Tampa. But, that run first, it's a run first. It's not a run first offense, but I think he'll definitely get more touches next year than he did this year, especially that he knows the system now for a full year.
But why? Where have they shown that they're going to be a run-first team? Leonard Fournette can start on 25 out of the 30-plus teams.
Well, I actually give you that. In the postseason, they definitely changed their style of play. They became that run.
That was the postseason because they were playing. Okay, they had to play a little more ball control against Seattle. The first game was over in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play.
No, you played.
No, that's right. I'm sorry. He did play.
23 carries for 99 yards.
Never mind. My brain's not working.
That's okay.
But especially that last game, they had to utilize him because it was colder weather.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, though. They may replicate that, if you will, Leo.
You have to.
Then that's what they may be thinking. Again, they still have a Ronald Jones, of course, and they still have a Keyshawn Vaughn. But you're exactly right. I think the running back market out there, JCA, is not plentiful for a Fournette. This may be the wrong year. It may be a wrong year for every running back, unless you're a Derrick Henry or a special one. Fournette played well, but again, he wasn't as consistent as he could have been for the full year, so he may not get as much. And again, free agency contracts to sign a running back are just not out there, right, JCA?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this kind of, unless you're a top tier guy like an Aaron Jones, you're not getting the money. Kenyon Drake was a weird pay. Chris Carson was a weird pay, but with
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. But with the fact that, the salary cap is in a different space, and like we just talked about, he was kind of upset and disgruntled with his role last year. It gives teams pause with his history, I think, but there might be a team that will splurge out on him. To answer Harry's question, I think we're going to see a lot more running plays from this team going forward, setting up that play action. With the ability to have OJ Howard back on the field and being that 12 personnel a lot more, you'd have both tight ends out there to accompany that offensive line to help block for a running game. Whereas Cam Brate's not really a blocker. Chris Godwin will get his nose dirty, but he's not an opposing force when it comes to blocking. But I think they could transition to being more balanced, definitely more than some games, definitely that States game. I don't want to talk about that. But I think play action sets up a lot of what they want to do. And you saw in the Super Bowl, they used play action the most out of. If they used the same amount of play action they use in the Super Bowl throughout the regular season, they would have led the league in play action. I think it was somewhere like 44% of their plays were through play action, and that's something they want to establish. And the only way you establish that is by setting up a run game. So that's going to be a focal point for them. As far as the draft goes, I heard Jacob talking about it earlier. I still see them being able to grab a running back pretty fairly early in this draft, whether it's in the first round, they're trading back in the second round, grabbing a Javonte Williams, or waiting to the second round, grabbing a Michael Carter, or maybe a Kenneth Gainwell in a trade back in the second into the early third. There's definitely options for them to go ahead and select the player, especially with Rojo in a contract year. If what I think they're going to do is signing Leonard Fournette for a 1-year deal, they'll only have Keyshawn Vaughn on the roster next year, so they're going to need someone there. And unfortunately, Peter, I think there's even a slight possibility that Rojo has moved on from during the draft. If they decide to take a guy like Najee Harris or a guy like Travis Etienne or a guy like even Javonte Williams, bring back Leonard Fournette, now you have Fournette, Vaughn, and one of those top three, I like to call them the big three running backs, then Rojo's kind of place in that offense I don't want to say it falls to the wayside, but it's tough to get all of those guys snaps. And if a team like Pittsburgh, who decides to go offensive line heavy and or an edge rusher and offensive line in the first and second rounds, and don't get their running back in free agency, says, hey, we'll give you a fourth or we'll give you a fifth round pick for Rojo. Well, you're not going to pay him next year. He's on a rookie deal, 1-year rookie deal. They only have 1 year left with Big Ben. That might be something that they might look at and say, all right, let's bring in Rojo to help our running game this year. He was almost a 1,000-yard rusher. We know he can carry the workload. Let's look into bringing him in. So looking at spots that are expendable on this team, there's not many. But Rojo is one guy. If they do draft a running back early, and that's only if they draft a running back with their first pick, I think that he could be traded or moved on through even in the draft. I know it hurts you, but
and look, it doesn't hurt me, but I tell you right now, the potential that the victim of volume has, just missing out on 1,000 yards and the explosive nature, I just feel like they haven't exploited enough, and he could definitely have a good year whether they draft a running back or not. I think the reason why they would draft a running back, JCA, is because if they lose a Leonard Fournette, you definitely don't want to go in there empty-handed, or you could go into free agency and pick up somebody. But at the end of the day, for me, Ronald Jones is still the best running back on this team, whether you re-sign a Leonard Fournette or not.
The problem with that is you have to pull him off the field in certain passing situations. Whether he caught 400, 500 balls, whatever he said a day, during training camp last year or during the offseason. Didn't look to help. He can still be a liability in pass blocking on third downs. And when you have a player like Rojo, who's literally only a first and second down back, unless you're in short yard situations, you pull him off the field and you're putting someone else in there. So most likely it's going to be a passing play. And why I mentioned the big three is because those guys are complete backs, can catch in the backfield, can rush the ball very well. Javonte Williams is the best pass protector in the league for out of running back, so they've got that down as well. And Leonard Fournette, remember where he had a down year last year and kind of didn't get his feet under him. He still had 70 catches the year before, so he can catch the ball. And you saw him kind of pick it up towards the postseason.
You know what? And I got to interject there. I have to interject there. You're talking about catching the football. Both of these players, the victim of volume and Leonard Fournette, they had a horrible year catching the football. And the reason for that is, the reason for a lot of drops is because they're not utilizing their backs correctly, which is another segment for a different show. Okay. And that was my main point. The only way for Leonard Fournette to really shine is he's going to have to move on and go to a team like the Giants who wants to run the ball. But I'm not saying the Giants. I'm just giving you an example. They were a run-first team.
Pittsburgh Steelers, somebody like
Washington,
that. Right.
That's a problem with Rojo and both Leonard Fournette.
And even Rojo can catch passes.
Well, I don't think
both grinded out, get the wheels turning. They need the carries to really start to get going.
Exactly.
You can't have two of the same players. I mean, you mentioned the drops, and even with Keyshawn Vaughn, you add him into the mix, and you add in LaShawn McCoy. They had 15 drops between their running backs last year, which is the highest total for any backfield in the NFL. And for Rojo and Fournette, puts them in the top 5 of all running backs who dropped passes last year. And
what do you want to bet?
They didn't have the volume, so that's why everyone wanted James White here, because his dependability catching the ball and his familiarity with Brady. And one name I'd look for would be Rex Burkhead. If they don't decide to bring him back, he can come in that cheap.
And Travis Etienne will solve that problem quicker than anything. I mean, that kid can catch passes out of the backfield like no one's business. He's man. If he falls to 32, I don't care. He is the best player available if he's sitting at 32.
Now let's say that they don't grab one of those big three and they still decide to address the running back position with a guy who can catch the ball. A guy like Demetric Felton, who is out of UCLA. I just spoke with him yesterday. He spoke to the Bucs 2 times already, once at the Senior Bowl, once via Zoom. He's that slash wide receiver running back type player that they can use in a variety of ways. And that could be, if they do bring back Leonard Fournette and go to Rojo and not draft one early, they could draft a guy like him. Kenneth Gainwell, obviously, is another guy that they could draft, and a Patterson out of Buffalo is another guy too that they could take a look at that can catch the ball. So they've got options, and they have the luxury to use those catches they should fit, because there's not a need left on this team pretty much.
Yeah, and one more thing about this Leonard Fournette stuff about just because you think a team has like their running back solved, it doesn't mean that they're not going to go out and then pay a Leonard Fournette, right? I mean, Leonard Fournette is, like we've talked about, his blocking ability. He's one of the best blocking running backs in the entire NFL. I mean, he will put his shoulder down and block literally anybody on the line. Teams want that, especially a team like I'm sure the Seahawks are still involved. They have Chris Carson, but with his injuries and all that, I could still definitely see them being interested in Leonard Fournette. I think that's probably the main team that I look at, right? I mean, JCA, you tell me. I think the Seahawks are a great fit for Leonard Fournette, right?
Oh, absolutely. And they've always had little, 1-2 punches, whether it be, CJ Procise going in there, Rashad Penny. They've always invested multiple picks into the running back position. Having him and Chris Carson together would not surprise me. We just saw the Raiders do it with the Jacobs and the Kenny Drake, and we're seeing a lot of teams. Last year was the Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay. We're seeing a lot of teams go to that solid 1-2 running back punch instead of that, number 1 and then a number 2. We're seeing a 1A, 1B type deal to keep these guys fresh, especially if you're a playoff team and you're trying. We saw it last year with the Buccaneers. So, I mean, you're seeing it around the league happen. The Patriots have Sony Michel and Damian Harris as their 1-2, and it's definitely something that teams are looking to do more. So, I mean, Chris Carson, Leonard Fournette, depending on what he's asking for, I could definitely see it. I'm telling you,
And then
don't sleep
another
on the
team-
Dolphins and don't sleep on the Steelers either. For him.
And don't sleep on the Panthers. I'm thinking about the Panthers here. They
Mike
lose.
Davis.
They lost Mike Davis to the Falcons. Yeah,
Yes,
they did.
yes, they just
Right.
lost him.
Signed with the Falcons. I could definitely see the Panthers. Oh my God! Imagine
And they
McCaffrey
have
and Leonard
plenty of
Fournette.
money. They have plenty of money.
But
Watch out.
again, and that's what I'm kind of wondering here about this is what is holding Leonard Fournette from coming back? Is it money? Is it the fact he's talking to other teams? Is there more teams out there than is first reported? Or once again, is it the Bucs just trying to create some money? So,
Probably
from what you
longevity.
hear, right?
Probably longevity, right? He probably wants a multi-year deal. He wants that. He wants to be able to lock himself in somewhere.
Although I really appreciate everybody's opinion on the panel here, what I'd really like is your opinion out there. 727-320-5866, 727-320-5866. I'm Harry the Greek. You can call in or post a comment, and we'll go ahead and take care of it. Joshua, I know we only had you for a half an hour. It is past your bedtime, so why don't you go ahead and promote yourself, brother?
I've got an article.
Oh, I'm sorry, the kid's bedtime. That's what it was.
He's got an article. Will you shut up and be
I'm writing an
quiet?
article. I'm actually I have a show scheduled here on Locker Room app. Guys, go check that out if you haven't downloaded it yet on iOS, Apple platform. Coming to Android soon, the Locker Room app. We're going to be doing a mock draft here with the Buccaneers shortly. Kind of going through on the Pro Football Network draft, mock draft simulator, making picks, making trades, seeing what the Buccaneers could potentially do, what players that might be available for them to target. But you guys can find me on Twitter at Joshua_C_Allen. I'm on there talking Bucks all day long. Any information, anything you want to ask me, feel free to slide into my DMs. We can talk Buccaneers all day long. Any Marvel, you want to talk
Did
some
he
Marvel
say
Winter
DMs?
Soldier?
He did.
JCA, I will talk to you about Marvel. Send me a DM. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, really. We're going to
Jacob,
go with
are
the
you an
DMs.
iPhone user?
I'm down with
I am an
DMs.
iPhone user.
Go download the Locker Room app. Every Friday we have a show talking about the Winter Soldier and the Falcon. We just had
there
a
you
big
go.
one
That's
today talking about
Newer
Snyder Cut.
show on Disney
yeah.
Plus. Yeah.
We
If
just
you
had a
haven't
big
had a
show about the
chance-
Snyder Cut the other day too, so it was great.
I've yet
yeah.
to watch it.
Get
I've
on the
yet to watch
Locker Room.
it.
I'm gonna have an article out tomorrow morning about Alex Kappa, what he's done so far, and what his outlook could be for next year. So look for that. Any breaking news? Like I said, look for Ryan Jensen's deal to get done within the next week. I think look for Antonio Brown to be signed within the next 48 hours. I don't think they're going to slack on that.
48 hours.
Wow. 48 hours.
I'll tell you what,
There
for
we go.
people
I
that
would think
don't
it
know,
gets done really quickly.
for people that
They have
don't know,
about
Joshua,
6.6 million in cap space right now, so they can work out a deal where he'll be coming back. And I think Leonard Fournette will take a little bit longer, but AB should be back relatively soon.
Listen,
so what you're saying is 48 hours, correct?
Yeah, I think by this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, he'll be signed.
All right. Well,
listen,
then if
wait. Go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
No, if that does break, we'll have it live here on Bucks Report with your breaking news. Yours truly, or Tampa Bay Ray, or maybe even Joshua Cole Allen or Rick Hughes.
I'll tell you what, one of the best writers I've ever seen.
He is definitely
Unbelievable. If
I'm
you've
getting
never
better.
had a chance,
I've learned a lot from everyone on here, from Ray, all the staff that's been here, Philip, Keith, and now Edwin Winter. So I'm improving every day, and that's the thing. My show is coming back, and I owe a lot to the man sitting next to you for improving my skills as well and getting more comfortable and everything. So it's been a team. That's what we are here at Bucks Report, is a team where we use each other. We use each other to learn from each other and just get better. There's always room for growth, and we're always here to help each other get better. And you know what? The better we get, the better content you guys get. So it's all for you guys. And thanks for everyone watching and tuning in and reading the articles and subscribing. And this is all for you. So thank you guys for all your support for Bucks Report.
ladies
stuff.
and gentlemen, that was Joshua Cole Allen. Joshua, thank you so much. That was great stuff. You have yourself a super, super fantastic evening. Write those articles, and thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. Jacob, my show's coming back. I'm going to need you on there.
I'm so excited. I am so excited for the Audible to come back. It's insane.
See you, buddy.
All right, appreciate you. There you go, Joshua Cole Allen, JCA here. So I tell you what, let's read some of these comments with Jacob. Yeah, I need. Well, you already read those.
Well, I really like this one. How can I get an autograph, Peter Blake?
And then Roger Shoe goes, "I'll sell you one for $150."
We
You don't even have my autograph. What are you talking about, Roger? We work together.
Kerry O'Kane, I don't remember, but this has to be the best 2 off seasons we've had in a long time. I know I've already read that.
Right.
But
I can't remember a team. I can't remember.
I do remember a couple, and they were for the New England Patriots.
Right.
But other than that, I've never seen it. And what do they have in common, guys?
Well, they both didn't the Patriots repeat one of those years?
Yeah, but wait a minute. What did they all have in common?
Tom Brady.
There you go. It's the Tom Brady effect.
Jacob, have you ever seen anything like this from an NFL team in the history at all?
No, never. And I wish I could give you more than that, but I've never seen anything like this before in all my time watching football. I mean, it's
amazing.
It's really a crazy offseason. I mean, you guys signed, I don't know if you guys who tuned into my show yesterday, but this is Tom Brady is the first ever quarterback in Bucs history to sign a second contract with the team.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That's sad. That's a sad state of affairs. But again, that's the Brady effect.
We got a good comment from Smilegate. I'll be a troll, but there's no soundtrack for trolling.
Okay.
Well, we're going to make
one, I guess. Yeah.
I guess you're going to have to.
Sure,
Jeremiah, drunken rants.
Yes, he does have lots of those.
Ethan English, I'm not against trading down. I bet there will be a lot of talent that goes later. That's what I've been saying.
You could definitely see that. I mean, you saw that last year with the wide receiving class. Jacob, you know about the draft. Is that what you see coming up in this draft? Is more talent in the later rounds because of all the opt-outs, all the uncertainty? Maybe some guy slips through the cracks because you don't necessarily have a combine. You just have a pro day. Do you see anything like that happening in this upcoming draft?
Yeah, and I think every year we see guys, a third rounder, a second rounder, and you're saying, I don't even know how this. I mean, look, DK Metcalf, it's year after year. Terry McLaurin, these guys fall, right? These guys slip. You're like, I don't even know how did they even end up in the second round, right? When guys like John Gruden's drafting Clelin Ferrell 4th overall. It makes no sense to me, right? But I'm not an NFL scout. You're not an NFL scout. These guys see things we don't see, right? These guys and teams are willing to take chances on these players, and especially this year, the receiver group and running back group, and every single year, right? Doesn't it feel like we're saying, oh, well, this is the best wide receiver group ever, the best wide receiver class ever. Last year was the best wide receiver class. This year is the best wide receiver class. Whatever. Every single year, there's great receivers. This year, more than any year, I see some guys. The names we're not talking about. Kadarius Toney. Oh my God, what a player. Kadarius Toney is going to be an absolute stud out of Florida. A lot of people don't talk about him. Terrace Marshall.
They have him going to the Bears.
Everyone, I could see it happening.
A lot of mock drafts have him going to Chicago.
Terrace Marshall, great player, LSU receiver, not talked about because of Jamar Chase, right? He comes out last year, Jamar Chase opts out, Terrace Marshall produces. Great player. And you see a ton of these running backs. I mean, Javonte Williams, JCA was talking about him out of UNC. Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis. These guys are really, really solid players. And you're looking and you look back and you're going to say, well, I don't even know how Alvin Kamara fell to the 3rd or 4th round. You're going to see that this year with one of these running backs. I'm telling you.
I remember when Alvin Kamara was coming into the pros that they said he had work ethic issues.
Well, I mean, it was at Tennessee, transferred, I believe, from Alabama. So there were some big time question marks. But
he was a first round talent with off field issues, and they said he had issues for taking the game too serious.
Well, I mean, I think you got to take the game too seriously. I think that's over analyzing, if you will.
Anyway,
over analysis, it's paralysis. That's what it is.
You know what, Jacob? I'm going to let you read this one.
I'm not against trading down for more real estate with no combine and Zoom interviews. Some better players should still be in the later rounds. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yes, 93 home TB12. Let's go out to Jeremiah here. Post the number so I can call in, please. The number's right there, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, seriously, let me give it to you again. 727-320-5866. 727-320-5866. I'm your host, Harry the Greek, on the Over-Under with Peter Blake.
Yes.
And our special guest is Mr. Jacob Charnow.
Yes, Jacob Charnow of the Hard Count Football Podcast, which can be seen and heard here live on Bucs Report at 7 o'clock on Tuesday nights.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. The Bucs will sign 28 and replace 25 with a running back from New England. I just wanted to tell you guys, what is the general manager thinking right now?
I'm going to let you take that one.
The general manager is right on it. He's on point with all the re-signings they've had. I don't know what you're talking about at this point. They may re-sign a Leonard Fournette, but you're going to have, once again, a Ronald Jones back. You're going to have a Keyshawn Vaughn. Shady McCoy really didn't work out last year. And the running back that you're talking about from New England has already been re-signed today by the Patriots, and that would be James White. So there's no chance of getting him.
And I'm going to read this comment right here. Mention Peter Blake and get 40% off.
Wow.
I don't think that'll
Are we
work.
going to specify what, or just in general? Just in public, if you mention Peter Blake, you get 40% off. That's how
Yeah, I like Troy Polamalu. He seems like he likes me.
And Gary Ivick, my old colleague, Harry, when you say forget about it, I cringe.
Why does he cringe for?
No, there's a reason for it.
But why does he cringe? Tell us the reason.
Because he's from South Jersey.
Okay.
Oh.
And he's a Phillyite.
So you can't do it?
No, I'm sorry. He lived
He's
in
a Phillyite.
No,
Is that a word?
He was born and raised in Philly.
A Phillyite.
Okay.
Philly.
Has a great family. Okay. And he's just one of those really analytical people. But I'll tell you what.
He's a Phillyite.
He's a Phillyite.
Is that even a word?
Yes, it is. It's a Harry word.
Isn't it a Philadelphia?
Forget about it. All right.
From the Greek. From the Greek.
You're making all kinds of words over here now, too?
No, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm serious. His knowledge in the game is just unbelievable.
Because he's a Phillyite.
I understand that.
Not a Philadelphian.
We're going to keep going.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead and read it.
Christopher Cole. I don't know. I don't want to butcher that name, but the guy who commented before about the running back numbers, which running back from New England are you talking about? Because White signed a 1-year deal with them, as Peter just said. Absolutely. You're correct, Christopher Cole.
Jeremiah, great night, all. I don't know.
Oh, we hope you found the phone number. I mean,
Antonio Brown again. I ain't going nowhere. Not till Brady's 10 years
You heard
over.
it here first on the over-under.
There you go. That's exclusive right there.
Exclusive.
Antonio Brown.
Breaking news.
Right?
Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter who?
Oh, that's funny.
And oh God, Gary, now you're gonna start trolling me, aren't you?
Don't spend on Fournette's today's NFL. I mean, I understand where he's coming from.
But he's not going to get a big paycheck anyway.
You're not going to sign him to a Christian McCaffrey deal or an Alvin Kamara deal.
No, how's Carolina liking that deal since they've given him all that money? I mean, let me be. How about I'm going to give you one better. Now, everybody, don't try to throw up when I say this.
Yes.
Who's this?
Oh, Ezekiel Elliott.
There you go.
Well, he's been on a downward spiral here.
Since when?
Since he got his contract extension. He's been on a decline.
I think it's been more since Dak got hurt last year was when he really crashed down. He definitely doesn't deserve all that money.
Ezekiel Elliott personally almost got
what?
The
Andy
Red
Dalton?
Rock Andy Dalton killed.
Your new starting quarterback for the Bears. So you already forgot his name?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Well,
is he
he's
affiliated?
He's trying to.
When I turn 45. I'm a Phillyite, all
You're
right?
45, all right.
Taylor Allen. Hi, Harry, Peter, Jacob, and JCA.
Hey, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
Allen.
How are you?
Wife of Joshua Cole Allen, right
yes,
there.
It is.
The lovely and talented Taylor Allen.
Jacob, this is you.
Where should the Bucs go in the draft, first and second round? Man, I just like scroll back all the way to the beginning of the show because I listed off a ton of names. But the three main positions, I think running back, four major positions, running back, offensive line, edge rusher, or cornerback are the four positions I have written down for the Bucs this year.
You know what I say they're going to do?
What is it, Harry? Drop the knowledge right there.
I'm telling you right now, the Bucs are dropping out of that hole because someone's really going to want it. And they're going to pick up extra draft picks.
You could definitely see them doing that because, again, they don't have a need.
They're going to pull a New England Patriot here.
They could. They could definitely do that at the right price. If the right player is on the board, you could definitely see them. But, defensive tackle, outside linebacker, running back.
He'll be counting his money.
Yeah, I don't want you to.
I got to get a little closer.
Yeah, I got to get closer.
What do you guys even think the Bucs are going to be able to get for that number 32 pick? I mean, what do you think the return could be for this?
Honestly, if the right player is there, let's just say one of the quarterbacks fall down to him. Okay.
Could you ask for a first-round pick next year?
You can get a first-round pick next year.
Maybe.
Move back a couple of spots. Pick up this year's second rounder. And get a first rounder next year.
Yeah. I mean, I could certainly see something along those lines if the right quarterback. That's if the right quarterback falls and there's a team that's desperate enough to get up there. And
the best creative financing I've ever seen in the National Football League is what Jason Light is doing right now.
Right.
Please don't tell me he doesn't know how to manipulate this system. He is going to if the right person drops to him, he will fleece quite a few teams in the National Football League.
Oh, yeah.
And do it with a smile.
You look at last year's draft with Tristan Wirfs trading up that one spot. Do you think that there would be a team out there that would want to draft a Tristan Wirfs and all you had to do was trade one spot up in order to get him?
I don't know how Tristan Wirfs fell to the Bucs pick last year. I had him as probably my highest. I mean, everyone did the highest rated offensive lineman heading into the draft, and the Giants were like, "I'm gonna take Andrew Thomas," and then I couldn't. I liked the Andrew Thomas pick at first. I really liked the Andrew Thomas, but man, Tristan Wirfs, I feel like everyone knew that he was going to be that good, and no one took him, and he felt like the most sure thing offensive lineman in that draft, did he not? And he somehow fell to the Bucs. Like it was.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he was probably the most sure. How about you, Peter?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think coming out of the draft, there was a lot of questions about him, and was he raw? Was he going to play left tackle? Was he going to play right tackle? He could play anywhere he wants to. In fact, to me, he's the best offensive lineman on this line that they have, only giving up 1 sack last year as a rookie. Yeah. And guys, he's going to get those extra reps in the offseason. He's going to get that preseason football. Plus, he's going to feel even more comfortable in this offense. So you would expect him to get better. Jacob, is that how you see this team getting better? I mean, Rob Gronkowski was talking about it this week, where he expects this offense could get better. This whole team could get better. Could you see that? Could this team actually get better than 11-5 and Super Bowl champions? Could they be like 13-3? Or who knows? As crazy as it sounds, do they have a perfect enough team to go undefeated all year?
I think they can. If they run the football.
Okay, so a few things. Number one, I think they have the team to go 16-0. Now, do I think they're going to go 16-0? No way in hell. There was no way in hell they go 16-0. Because you know why? You know why? Because last year I watched the New York Jets beat the Los Angeles Rams. Anything is possible.
Sure.
Anything is possible. You guys lost to the Bears. I'm sorry, but you guys
we'll
lost.
We'll be removing you now.
All right. It's just an example. The Buccaneers lost to the Bears, but still, right? The Buccaneers I think in terms of talent, right? They were far and away better, but you see a lot. It's any given Sunday, guys. Any given Sunday. Yes, the Bucs can show up for 16 weeks straight and then go 16-0 because they have the defense and the coaching to do it. You guys have to go. You guys have some tough matchups next year. I'm not going to lie. Right?
Well, they got the Jets.
So guaranteed 16-0, not happening. That's what you're hearing. You heard it here first, guys.
You heard it here first. Peter Blake's going to announce tonight when he said Super Bowl or bust. It's 16-0.
I'm not saying that because Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy said that last year, and he did. Yes, not. He did. He said 16. Really? He did. He said 16-0. Yeah, he said undefeated. I go undefeated.
You know what, Ray? If you're out there, you need to call in because I can't ever recall Ray ever saying 16.
I've got it on. I've got it.
You smell that? Hang on, Jacob. You smell that? I smell BS here.
Nope. I'm telling you.
There's no way that Ray Kennedy said.
I'll play that
16
spot.
I'll
play the spot.
Guys, there's either proof or there's not at this point. Well,
there's proof.
The webheads will go out and they'll find it. I'm letting you know.
Of course they will. Of course they will. And the leader of the webheads will find it because the leader knows where it's at because the leader has it.
Leader of the pack.
I'm the leader here.
I'm going to go ahead and switch gears here just for a minute. I'm going to let you get back to your point here, but I want to talk a little bit about March Madness.
Well, actually, before we get to that, let's free agency. How did you feel about your Jets and how they did in free agency? Both of the New York teams really stood out.
They did really well.
Absolutely. Both of the New York teams stood out. What other teams stood out to you in free agency besides the obvious, the New England Patriots? How about the Raiders?
Ooh, okay. The Raiders, I think they're going to be bad next year. First of all, I had the Raiders being bad. I think the Raiders are going to be bad. I think the Titans are going to be bad. Those are two teams. I think they lost more than I really think they lost more than they could imagine. Right? The Titans lose their coach, their head coach. They lose some defensive weapons. They lose Corey Davis. He comes to the Jets, who I think that was a fantastic signing. That the Jets somehow signed Corey Davis for less than the Patriots signed Nelson Aguilar. I'm not going to go there about the Patriots because I think they overspent, and they also and when teams overspend, it never goes well. It literally has not. I couldn't think of an example of one time that it's gone well. You're going to look and say, oh, I heard a lot of people. Oh, well, the Bucs bought their. Guess what? The Bucs have 16 of their 22 starters were people that they drafted in-house, right? They bred them with in-house. And sure, you brought in Tom Brady and Gronk, but other than that, 16 of your 22 starters were through the draft. Anyway, teams, some teams that stood out to me, the Rams are going to be a hell of a team next year. I'm letting you know that right now.
That's my dark horse.
Absolutely. And they're my dark horse too. A team that stood out to me, the Lions are going to be terrible next year once again. The Eagles stood out to me. Harry, you disagree with me? Yeah. Trust me, I'm bringing the honesty. I'm bringing the honesty here tonight.
Who did you ask me? What did you say if I disagree with what team's going to be terrible?
The Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to be awful. And
wow, the Eagles. Why the Eagles? Is it the quarterback change?
It's all of it. Okay. It's all of it. It's really all of it. That defense is still atrocious, in my opinion. That offensive line.
The Eagles go 500 next year, possibly even a game over.
What about?
You know what? This is what I'm all about. It's all about betting.
So, Jacob, would you bet Harry on this that the Eagles will be bad next year or be good this year?
I would. Yeah. I'll take them under 500. I'll take them
under. Wow. Hey, the over and under, according to William Hill in the sports book right now, is only 5 games. Okay, so I'd be foolish to make the bet at 8. I'm just telling you, I think the Eagles are going to go a game over 500. They're going to be one of the surprise teams in the NFC East. I do not have them winning the division. I do not have them making the playoffs, but I have them going 500 or even a game over.
Sure, because I look at them, Jacob.
The NFC East this year is going to be much improved. They're not going to be as bad as they were last year.
And that's the reason why I don't think the Eagles are going to be that good. I think the Giants have improved. I think the Washington football team has improved. I even think the Cowboys, as crazy as it sounds, with the new Dak Prescott. Right. I mean,
under 500.
For the Eagles?
Okay.
No, for the Cowboys.
Okay.
This year, under 500.
Yeah. Harry, I'll tell you time and time again, I bring me and you both, everyone, Peter, you as well. We all have reasoning behind what we say. We're not just spitting things out. Sure. The reason I think the Eagles are going to be bad, and I think they're going to have a top 3 draft pick next year, is because that defense is terrible, an aging old offensive line they're bad, right? They have Miles Sanders, who we don't know what he's going to look like next year behind that offensive line. And we have Jalen Hurts, who did nothing to impress me last year. Then on top of that, you have dysfunction. He looked
pretty good, Jacob. That's not fair. He looked pretty good.
Well, he looked good enough for the organization to move on with without a Carson Wentz, but you basically got nothing for Carson Wentz.
That whole team was completely in disarray. It was a dumpster fire. So that's the kid in here, and he actually did a lot better.
So what has changed with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz?
You know what? They're going to have people coming back. They're going to get healthy. Unfortunately, Alshon Jeffrey's not going to be there. They're going to draft a couple of players.
Deshaun Jackson's not going to be there.
And you know what? That's a blessing in disguise. The guy's older than you are, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, they're going to draft, and here's what's going to happen, right? They're sitting at pick 6. The Lions have pick 7. I think both these teams go receiver. I have the Eagles taking Jalen Waddle because I have just how my dominoes fall. I have Jamar Chase going 5. I have Jalen Waddle going 6, and then I have Devontae Smith going 7. I think the Eagles are once again going to miss on a receiver. Once again going to have the worst receiver in the first round with Jalen Waddle. I do like Jalen Waddle, but I don't think
he's an offensive lineman.
But I don't think that the Eagles. I don't think that Jalen Hurts has. I don't think that Jalen Waddle would be good on the Eagles. I don't think he'd be good on the Patriots. He's a deep threat. He's similar. He reminds me of Tyreek Hill. He's just really, really fast. And Jalen Hurts hasn't really impressed me with his deep ball so far. I haven't seen enough from him that would be a valuable pick for this team.
That's a fair statement,
right? At least a receiver that would be valuable for this team. And then on top of that, dysfunction in the front office, right? Howie Roseman, Jeff Lurie, we don't know what's going to happen there. And it felt like they settled on a coach, right?
Who is the coach? That's what I'm saying. He's a young guy. I'm not saying that he can't come in right away, but it's going back to what Harry the Greek has just said. It was dysfunction last year.
Guys, they hire all the entirety of last season. We're saying, guys, where would Carson Wentz be great? I think everyone was in agreement that he would be best on the Colts. Carson Wentz goes to the Colts. The Eagles, first, they hire the Colts offensive coordinator, and then they get rid of Carson Wentz.
Right.
What are you doing?
Smart move on their behalf, I guess. You know what? I'd really love Gary Ivick to call in.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
You hire the Colts offensive coordinator and they get rid of the quarterback that supposedly is working in that system for another one.
If the Houston Texans didn't exist, The Philadelphia Eagles would be the biggest laughing stock in the NFL right now.
Easy now. Jacksonville has something to say about that. They called now, Jacob.
Jacksonville's getting Trevor Lawrence. The Eagles seem like they are directionless, and it's weird to watch.
Directionless?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Wow, that's good.
That's really
We're talking
good.
about a team that's just been a perennial playoff team, a Super Bowl winner just a couple of years back. Okay, they had a bad year, but they were so beat up. That's why I'm saying
wholesale changes. You're exactly right. They had lots of injuries, but still wholesale changes, a new offense and a new quarterback. To me, just it smells bad to me.
And have a question or a comment, go ahead and post it. Otherwise, give us a call, 727-320-5866. That's 727-320-5866. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Let's go out to the comments here. What do these guys have to say? Let's see. We'll go out to Chris. Go Chris there.
How far back would you be willing to go back if you're the Bucks?
It's a great question.
You know what? I'd
sure.
go back anywhere in the second round to be able to do that. But, I mean, realistically, they're not going to go back more than 10 or 15 slots.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back longer than that, then maybe you missed a player out on the board.
Yeah, the only way, I think the biggest, I don't think quarterback, I know you said if a quarterback falls, chances are a quarterback's not going to fall. I think that if there was a receiver sitting at pick 32, because look at the second round, right? Look at the start of the second round.
Like
the Jaguars,
another receiver?
No, but what I'm saying is the Jaguars and the Jets could both take a receiver in the second round. There could be teams that want to jump up in front of them to snag their guy. So I think that a receiver is I think there's a receiver sitting there. A team could definitely trade up.
I agree.
Bucks time 12. Last in. What did I miss?
Well, Donovan Smith re-signed today. If you didn't know, a contract extension, multi-deal contract extension, which frees up $10 million for the cap. And then in turn, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-signed Ndamukong Suh to a 1-year, $9 million contract. So there you go.
And you missed the overwhelming knowledge of Joshua Cole
That's it.
Allen.
You did. So at least better late than never, Bucks time 12.
17-game season, fellas. David, Colin Cowherd said today that the Bucks are the only team.
End it after that. End it after Colin Cowherd said. I don't want to hear the rest of it.
Oh, okay, come on now. I do like Colin.
I do like Colin. I do like Colin a lot. I like Colin a lot, but he talks more for entertainment than his actual takes. And I understand it. It's TV, but to argue with it it's hard to argue with
the passion that he shows.
Well, I don't think there's any argument here, guys. I definitely think that Cowherd is on to something. This could be the only team in the NFL that's drafting for depth at this point instead of need.
And I've been saying that for the past month. Chris,
well, look at what they've done.
Oh, I understand that. Peter, this one's yours, buddy.
An offseason with the offense built around Hurts might work to get them close to 500 or better. Might. That's what I hear. I see it. Might. I that's not assuring to me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this guy's calling me. He needs to call the other show, so I'm not taking this call. He's going to have to call the other show, not call my phone.
You ready, Jacob?
Yes.
Ray Kennedy. Did I say that? I remember him saying it.
No, Ray Kennedy did say that. I remember him saying it.
My BS meter's going off.
See?
Yeah.
He did not say 16-0. He couldn't have.
He did.
Ray would never do that.
Of course he would.
And let me go back and rephrase. Bucks time, you called me out on it. Sorry, I said the Titans lost their head coach. They lost Arthur Smith, their offensive coordinator, he was the leader of that offense, and I think that's huge. Losing your offensive coordinator for that team is big. Sorry.
Tim Wotherspoon. The Eagles' head office is sailing a boat in a circle.
Exactly.
That's a pretty good one. Jacob, go for it.
What happened to the Titans head coach? I thought that was Mike Vrabel. It still is Mike Vrabel. They lost Arthur Smith, their offensive coordinator, to the Atlanta Falcons. That's my bad.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the NCAA. Have you seen any surprises, Peter?
Oh, my God.
I think there's been plenty of surprises. Oral Roberts has been the big-time story of being a 15th seed. That's been the big-time shocker. A lot of number one seeds going down. How disappointing has the Big Ten been in this?
The tiny ten.
I kind of like it. I kind of like watching the Big Ten lose.
Well, they lost all kinds of games. Ohio State started out with it, and it's gone from there. And then, of course, me being a Florida State homer, I've been quite impressed with Seminoles basketball. But again, when you play defense and you don't turn over the basketball, which is what I said coming into this tournament, if this team could take care of the ball, they would be good to go. And they're playing defense and holding teams, under 60 points. You can win. They got a tough matchup versus Michigan. So
Oral Roberts has more wins over Ohio State than Jim Harbaugh does. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now.
Wow, that's great. That is great,
really
and
good.
that's so true too, Jacob. It really is.
It is.
Jacob, I'm going to ask you: Oregon and Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago 6.5-point favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you like?
Oh, who do I like? First of all, whenever I say no one should trust me, my bracket is obliterated. There's more X's on that than I've ever seen in my entire life on anything. But I did watch the Oklahoma State versus Oregon State game where Oregon State wins that one. And from what I saw, it looked more like Oklahoma State blew that game for themselves than Oregon State won that game. And Loyola Chicago has certainly impressed me. The Midwest probably they are the best conference, whatever, best section in the entire tournament. I said it, you have 7-8 seeds look like they could be the 2 or 3 seeds in these other conferences or whatever. And that's kind of what Loyola Chicago is, right? Don't bet against Sister Jean. Do not do it. I'm taking the point.
You can't bet against the Catholics. So are you saying you like Loyola minus the 6.5?
I do.
That's great because you know what? Kendrick, Mr. Heavy himself over here in St. Pete, he absolutely loves them. Well, you know what? I can't do anything about it. Sorry,
well, there you go.
You know,
that's the kind of content. That's the kind of content we come here for. Harry.
Push him off, please. I'm so sorry, guys.
I feel like if I push him off, he may scratch me or something.
No, he's not going to scratch you. Don't be a wuss here. No, you got to push him. There you go. There you go. That was Turbo. He was actually telling everybody he likes Loyola Chicago as well.
We'll see. There you go.
Peter, who do you like? Loyola Chicago minus 6.5 or Oregon getting 6.5?
I'll take Loyola Chicago.
We're all in agreement. I'm also saying Loyola Chicago.
Want to bet though? Does anybody want to bet on that?
Nope. I'm not taking action on that game right now.
Why?
Why? Because I can't.
Why can't you?
I just don't feel it. I just don't.
You got to feel it in order, but
feel
it's all resounding yes
but
here.
Someone has to challenge me and go the other way, and that's how we make.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Is there anybody out there that disagrees with you?
No one's going to disagree with the Greek. I went 88%. I'm pounding my chest a little bit. I'm only kidding.
And the second game, guys, I think there's a real chance that Alabama, if they keep shooting like the Golden State Warriors, then they can come out and win this national championship because.
Buddy, Alabama's a 6-point favorite against UCLA.
I'll tell you right now,
UCLA.
What it always comes down to, guys, in tournament play is best guard play and also a superstar or a guy that's just shooting the lights out. Right now, Alabama's doing that. Great guard play, playing defense. I definitely like Alabama in that game.
You know what? And this is where I'm going to disagree. I know the UCLA is really not that good. Alabama should be able to beat them handily, especially with the -6. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. You know what I really like?
What do you like?
I like the under in the total points. It's 148 points, 148.5. Bet the under in that game.
Those are great.
Why do you want to bet the under on that?
Two really good defenses.
Because both teams can play defense. And if this game doesn't go into overtime, okay, and technically a 6-point favorite, you're not really going to see too many overtime games that way. And that's why I really like the under. But if you want to make a parlay in this game, and you like the under, UCLA is going to keep the game close, and you can go that route. But I don't have the nads to do that, to be honest with you right now. I do like the under. I'm going to go ahead and talk about another couple of games. We're going to get right back into football. Your Florida State Seminoles, Peter, they're playing Michigan. Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite. Who do you like?
Yeah.
Oh,
God. We'll go to Jacob.
I'm telling you. I am telling you right now. Take FSU.
Take FSU, baby. With that defense, with Leonard Hamilton and how he gets his guys ready to play every game, even after they lost to Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game, and people were like, well, they're not going to be ready. And I get it. They turned the ball over 10 times. It was a sloppy game, but right now they're playing some of their best basketball. I like the Florida State Seminoles.
Harry the Greek likes neither one in that game. I like the over 143. Play the over in that game.
Wait a minute. Hold on now. Want to bet on this game? You want to bet on this game?
I didn't disagree with you. I said I didn't like either side, but I do like the over.
But
I think it's going to be a high scoring affair.
What team do you like? What team do you like?
That's not my game.
No. What do you mean? No. Come on now. You're not on with JCA.
I kind of feel betrayed. I feel betrayed
too. I feel look.
All right.
Okay, there you go. And I know that's hard for you to do because you're a Florida Gator fan. I get that. But come on, man. Don't be on the fence here. Don't be diplomatic. What are you?
But Skip.
Skip.
Syracuse at Houston. Houston's a 6.5-point favorite. They're supposed to blow this team out. You want to know something? Take Syracuse in the 6.5.
Agree. I'll tell you.
Wait, no one listens to me. Syracuse is like they're so good all the time. Guys, they're running a 2-3 zone defense. It's not that complicated, but nobody in the NCAA tournament ever sees a 2-3 zone defense now. You just don't see it. You let guys shoot. These guys aren't shooting like it's the NBA. You stop them from scoring inside the paint, and you will win football games. Jim Boeheim is a genius, and his kid now is apparently super good at basketball. And I don't know where that came from, but Syracuse every single year, it feels like they're an 11 seed, and they always make it to the Sweet 16. Take Syracuse. They're going to win this game. I'm letting you know that right now.
I like Syracuse,
and I
too.
can't even make a bet on it. And that's the underdog. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't take the points with Syracuse and you play them on the money line and say that they're going to beat them straight up, they're plus 260 in this game. I don't have those.
So who are you taking?
I'm taking Syracuse plus the 6.5.
I'll take Syracuse too.
I'll take Syracuse straight up. I'll take the line on that game.
I think the big time story has been Jim Boeheim getting them back there to prominence. And
the last game, the elephant in the room, Creighton and Gonzaga. Hold on, folks. Hold on. You can't just say that. What if I say Gonzaga was favored by 25 points? You still taking Gonzaga?
No, but I don't.
Okay, because they're not 25. Gonzaga's minus 13.
You're such an ass.
minus 13.
25.
He came at me with 25.
Yeah,
I was
what do you mean? What do you mean? They were favored in their last game by 20-some
against
points.
Creighton?
No, but now there's Creighton. They're minus 13 against Creighton.
Creighton's not bad. Nobody's going to believe.
No, I understand that. Do they beat them by more than 13? I'm not saying that. Listen, you can have Gonzaga going all the way, but that doesn't necessarily they're going to cover the point spread. And I'm going to give you one other avenue. Do you like over or under 158? Starting with you, Jacob.
The under. 100% on this one. I'm taking the under.
Okay. How about you, Peter?
I'm going to go the over, man.
This is where I'm going to make a bet. I love the over in this game.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's going to put up 100 on their own.
Easy.
For this one.
Gonzaga is going to be
here's my parlay.
The most likely winner of the NCAA tournament, honestly.
They're not going to get by the Nun. I'm kidding, folks. I love Gonzaga over minus 13 and over 158. Parlay it into Syracuse. You want to get creative? Put Florida State in there. That is a 14 parlay. The Greek never makes 14 parlays. Ever, ever, ever. It's a sucker bet. Very small investment, huge return. Or you make straight wagers. So that's our segment of handicapping for the evening. Syracuse getting 6.5. Florida State getting 2.5. Gonzaga minus 13 and over 158. We didn't talk about USC and Oregon. I didn't really like it. UCLA and Bama. I didn't like the game, but I definitely did like the under 148.5.
Okay. Well, we'll check those results next week.
Absolutely. I did write them all down. I
want to bet.
See them.
There you go.
That's what our new segment is. We're going to call it You Want to Bet.
Want to bet.
Wait. I know. I want to throw it back to football for just a second. If you guys
go ahead. We are Bucks Report.
We're talking about a team that is directionless. Can I throw a team out there that feels directionless and it's not going to feel that way until next year? That would kind of be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know they have a great defense. But to bring back Ben Roethlisberger, no matter how much money you would have to pay him, it feels like this team they don't know what they're doing. It's not the Steeler way.
Oh, hold on.
We're getting a call. We'll get back at it.
Good evening, caller. Welcome to the Over Under with Harry the Greek and Mr. Peter Blake. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I must have the wrong number.
Who is this?
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out?
Oh man, don't start singing. Don't start that crap.
Who said the Bucs would go 16-0 in 2020?
They're saying you did. There's no way you said that, Ray. Talking to the phone, by the way. I can't hear you.
Hold on a second. Can you hear me now?
Yes, they sound like a Verizon commercial. Good.
And you guys know, and is Jacob still there?
Yes, Jacob is still here.
Jacob knows me long enough now, too, that I'm the eternal optimist. I lay 16-0 out there. I'm not.
See, I told you he said it. Now you owe me money. There you go. You bet me. You bet the wrong person.
Hey, I fed you tonight.
Okay. Well, it's good.
But I'm not going to ask. You know I fed you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You served him a big fat meatball.
Will you shut up and be quiet?
Ray, did you really actually claim that the Buccaneers were going to go 16-0.
Yes.
I said they could.
Oh, okay. That's a different story. I said
no,
that too.
He didn't say they could. He said they would. I got that. What do you say, Ray?
Harry, here's the thing. It's just like Tom Brady and Josh McDaniel had that perfect symmetry in New England. And, of course, Bill Belichick was the evil puppet master. One thing we haven't done, guys, and I'm not saying we haven't talked about it, because we've given credits to Todd Bowles in that defense. We've given credit to Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady, who after the bye week in week 12, they get on the same page. But Bruce Arians brought a new quarterback in during a pandemic with no offseason. Now, Tom took the initiative with the guys at Berkeley Prep and put a team together. Every one of the other 31 teams will have this whole preseason and a chance to develop. But this Buccaneers team in 2021, Jacob, 16-0 is not unfathomable. It is a stretch. It is a climb.
I don't think it's a stretch, Ray, and I'm going to tell you why. If this team decides to change their offensive mentality and utilize the victim of volume, and they do sign Leonard Fournette, and they run the ball 25 to 30 times a game and take some of the pressure off of Tom Brady, I'm telling you now, this team could feasibly go undefeated. They're that good.
You need to read this comment where Ray's on. I'm sorry.
Which one is this?
This one's Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan legend. Let's read that.
Why is Ray always streaming at the streets at night? He loves Nebraska Avenue a little too much. Ray,
Right.
did you see that?
No, but the reason why I'm not with you guys tonight or on camera, I apologize, but it is Wednesday night, and you guys know that that's the night I go out and drag. I'm down here in Tampa having a great evening. It's 2-for-1 specials down here at Bender's, and I'm just having a good time.
Did you just really say you were dressing in drag?
I'm done with this. I'm ready to end the show.
All right, we've gone off the rails.
Man, care of Ray Kennedy. There you go. Great job, Ray.
There's breaking news. Ray is working the streets.
Ray's a streetwalker. It's great job, Ray Kennedy. Appreciate you.
You know what?
buddy.
It's not nice that you take Ruth out with you.
She's here too, but she's actually, I'm not going to go there. So Peter,
Yes,
I got to ask you a question. I'm
Sure.
gonna put you on the spot here.
go for it.
It's 3rd and 7.
Don't do it.
Plays already called.
Okay.
It's going to be a flare out screen out of the backfield. You've got Leonard Fournette. You've got Ronald Jones II. You've got one shot at this. Game is on the line. It's the NFC Championship. Which running back do you have in there for a 3rd and 7 flare out pass out of the backfield?
Go ahead.
Well, I tell you right now, you know how I'm victim of volume is my guy, but I will say this: Leonard Fournette last year in the crunch times, especially versus the Saints on that pass, I would most likely put in Leonard Fournette.
And it's intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Sorry.
You shut up
God.
and be quiet.
Hey, Ray, we love you, brother. I've got another call coming in. Can I go ahead and take it? Thank you. Call me back. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the Over Under. I'm Harry the Greek. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Mr. Greek, this is Sean the Sports Don. How are you today, sir?
Hey, what's up, my brother? Can I call you the Sports Don?
Of course you can, sir.
Okay.
Of course you can. I was going to call you Mr. Greek.
Oh, I
Is
like that. But I
okay?
wasn't going to call you the Mr. C, though, like his father called you.
Well, you know what? Yeah. May he rest in peace. I love Mr. Rich. Man, I do have a quick question. I want to kind of venture off a little bit. I just want to ask you a question.
Sure.
How are your brackets?
You know what? My
We were just talking about that. The brackets are out of whack.
Well, I tell you what, all the brackets are out of whack, but I can honestly tell you that I had Loyola Chicago making it to the Sweet 16 and beating Illinois. I did have Oral Roberts over Ohio State, but had them losing to Florida.
Didn't work out too well for
No,
you, did
it didn't.
No.
No, it didn't.
Oral Roberts has been, again, the big time story of this tournament.
So
easily.
Loyola.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Well, they got the young lady, that cheerleader, the biggest the biggest star of that team.
When you have God in your corner, anything is possible.
Right. Right. I mean, when you have that going on, I mean, Jesus, you're bound to win. Now, I didn't get to fill out a bracket this year. My company, they did do it, and I actually got around to it late and whatever. But I had Michigan going all the way.
Did you really?
Yes, and the only reason why, because I grew up, I'm a Fab 5 fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so obviously, hats off to Michigan for giving Jawan Howard the job in the first place a few years ago. I mean, they could have gone with a retread. They could have gone with up-and-coming college coach that's been in that recruiting scene. But you know what? You get a guy who is, family. You get a guy who played 17 or so years in the NBA, been on Pat Riley's bench, won a championship, I think, being on the last part of the bench. He was a quasi, assistant coach, and then he gets into assistant coaching over there. Come on, that's just a great hire, and you're seeing it based on the success that they had. So I would have had those guys going all the way through. That's just a sentimental pick for me. So I'm interested to see where everything goes. Unfortunately, I will say this today. There were not any games today, correct?
No, there's no games today. I think it starts tomorrow, right?
Right. So I didn't miss anything on that regard.
It's actually all this weekend. They're going to be playing.
Yeah, I like to see Florida State beat Michigan in that rematch from a couple years ago. So,
and that would be my hang up because first of all, the coach over there for Florida State, he puts out lottery pick after lottery pick, and I think he's 70 something. He looks great. You don't realize how? I mean, that program. He does a great job of recruiting, and that would be my hang up. And Spider, I'm a Florida State fan, so I definitely would want to have Florida State. And I just think for them, just for Jawan Howard and what they did, again, I was just so happy to see them make that hire when it kind of came out of left field. I don't know if anyone really even knew that he was even one of the targets, but obviously you're seeing the proofs of that decision. And I mean, that's a great story to me. Obviously, everyone has Gonzaga doing it, but
Gonzaga's the easy, sexy pick. I get it.
Gonzaga's the most dominant team.
But they haven't
coming into this tournament.
But it wouldn't surprise me that they run up against a buzzsaw and they get their ass handed to them.
You really think so?
I honestly think that's going to happen. Listen, they've already beaten a lot of the number ones right now. Let's not count Baylor out of this. Okay. I mean, are they done? Or are they still in?
Yeah.
What do you think?
They're definitely there.
They're also a very, very solid team. So who do you like this weekend so far? Don, you still there?
Again, yeah, I'm here again. I'm gonna stick with Michigan going all the way through.
So you like Michigan over Florida State? I want you to say it out loud because Peter's sitting right next to me and he might have a coronary.
Listen. I am a Florida State. I know this sounds crazy, so I'm torn. I'm torn.
Everything you say sounds crazy. Okay, so just we're used to it by now, Sean.
I'm torn by this.
Yeah, you're torn, all right.
And, but I would, man, just to see that happen for Jawan Howard again, you gotta
I don't care about that. Who cares about that?
I was a big Fab 5 guy, so growing
I think that was like 30 years ago.
I know. I mean, he's living in the past. Stop living in the past, Sean.
Listen.
Wait a minute. Maybe their spirits are going to come. You know what? I hear the Fab 5 are going to make an appearance. Who do you like now?
Chris Webber is going to call a timeout again and travel? And the refs are going to miss it?
Here's the funny thing. I was a Magic Johnson fan growing up. I know, Scotty, I've told you that before. And so when Magic Johnson had his medical issues and everything like that, one of the guys who attracted me was a Jalen Rose because he was also like a 6'8" point guard.
I forgot. I love Jalen Rose.
He's good.
Yes, and that's why I gravitated to that team in '93 and stuff like that. So now I'm looking at it from that perspective, like, wow. And then they had the same kind of colors in the way. They had the gold. And I'm like, whoa, I love this team. So from that perspective, that's why. So I guess I'm living my second childhood. Y'all don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. I'm living my second childhood, hoping I can get some redemption.
You basically admitted that he's a child. That's what you just said.
I like it. Hey, Don, I'm going to get off of the handicapping on the Sweet 16 coming up, but I did want to ask you a question. What do you think of the signings today?
Well, the signings today, man, I tell you, this is one of the reasons why I was actually calling in. listen, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Can the Bucks do this? Were they just drunk on that boat parade, or were they serious about bringing everybody back? And they set themselves up in a situation to where in their salary cap is in a good position, and I love it. I mean, you bring it back in Dominican. A lot of people give Donovan Smith a hard time. I'm of the ilk of I never really hated Donovan Smith.
Hey, I was his biggest fan this year.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be. You got Tom Brady back there who cannot run. You have to be his biggest fan to make sure he protects Tom Brady. But to go out there and you don't need Orlando Pace to win a Super Bowl. Last I checked, Orlando Pace only won one Super Bowl. You don't need Jonathan Ogden to win a Super Bowl. But you got to have a guy that's competent, and I believe that Donovan Smith is a top 10. Or if I'm being overzealous, top 12, but there's not 12 left tackles better than Donovan Smith from his durability and from his. And when I say consistency, I mean you don't need to just give him help all the time. Sure, you'll probably chip somebody. Sure, he may get lazy and have some lackadaisical fundamentals, but he is a very, 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 very solid left tackle.
Very good point, and that was my point exactly that I've made numerous times on the sports web, on this show, on other shows, that there is not a left tackle, not one in the National Football League that does not get help from either a running back or a tight end. Period. Not one.
Right. No. And I think I think every fan base they find that one person they just love to hate. And they just go at him, and everything that he does wrong is mad. So if I watch a game and there's 70 offensive plays, and I pick out 2 plays that he did wrong, maybe he got a holding penalty at the wrong time, or maybe he gave up a sack. But the other 68 plays, I don't hear from him. He did a great job today because he's going up against the elite of the elite pass rusher of the team that he's going against. So you have to give him credit for that. So. It's a smart move, bringing him back. Guys, by the way, I think our center will probably get an extension or some type of, maybe a year or 2, so they can now probably fit in Antonio Brown or Leonard Fournette.
That's a great point.
That's going to be your next domino to fall, something like that, so they can put in. Because right now, I do believe that Fournette and Antonio Brown, they may be listening to other people, but I don't think they're getting the money they felt.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Hey,
Don, I need you to hold on just for a second because I have someone that's going to have to bounce here right now, and I want him to be able to promote his show. He's been an absolute gentleman this entire show. I mean, he's just great to have around. And Mr. Jacob Charnow, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, but I want everybody to know about your show. Promote yourself. Tell them where they can find you, little brother.
Yes, man, of course. The Hard Count Football Podcast, YouTube and SoundCloud, and then the Hard Count Football Podcast live Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Bucks Report. Follow me on Twitter at Jacob Charnow, Instagram at Hard Count Football. Tell me I'm wrong. Anything you heard tonight that you disagree with, come tell me. I would love to hear about it. I would love to argue with you. Come tell me on Tuesday night. As always, guys, I appreciate having me on, Peter. It was fun. I would love to have you come on my show. Harry, you're on all the time. And it's really a blast. I love talking to you guys.
Anytime.
Sounds good, man.
Jacob,
appreciate
but
you.
You and I didn't disagree tonight. That's like amazing.
It's crazy. That's a new one. It's because we didn't talk about Sam Darnold. That's why.
Jacob, Sam Darnold's still your quarterback. I'll see you later, buddy. Talk to you later. Bye.
You jerk.
I
knew you were going to get that in there.
I had to.
All right, let's go back to Sean, the sports Dom. What do you have to say?
I want to say this, guys. I want to just give you guys a shout out. You guys are doing big things over there, and I want to start, interacting with some other shows and stuff because I really like what you guys do, and I love the platform of giving the fans, and Spike, we always talked about this, but giving the fans their voice. Hey, I don't care if you disagree with me. Call in. Let's debate. That's healthy. That's fun, and I think that's how you guys will continue to be blessed. You guys will be continue to grow. And that's why I love giving you guys the support because you're the only ones doing it. I mean, here we are, 10 o'clock at night, and guess what we're talking? We're talking Buccaneer football. And right now, the way the Bucs are doing their thing, you got to be excited about that. When everybody else is sleeping, you guys are up working, and that's what's going to probably take you guys into another stratosphere.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. I know you're a defensive guy. Ndamukong Suh, really quick.
Oh, man. Well, listen, let me tell you something. When you
Is he signing or no?
He signed already.
I know. I just wanted to see if he was paying attention.
Oh, well, come on now. That's one reason why I called in here. Listen, when you get that guy, and by the way, he does not look like he's slowing down, okay? And you're talking about an anchor that's in the middle of your defense, and then you have Vita Vea right there beside him. God, there is make no mistake about it. Devin White looks like the next Ray Lewis because of that in front of him. When Ray Lewis got mad when they got rid of Syracuse, and he wanted to get another big guy in front of him because
Could you blame him?
I can feast when you have that. The Bucks have two. The Bucks have two of those right there in the middle. So now you put that with a team that has a secondary that, oh, by the way, they're going to be better than they were last year. They
got another year under their belt. Of course they're going to be better.
And they got everybody back. But you're exactly right. I mean, all those guys are going to be better.
I also, in the middle part of the season, said, watch out for this kid, Sean Murphy-Bunting.
Boy, he played so well in that postseason.
Because everybody's like, "Oh my God, he gets burned." No, he's risky.
He's aggressive, and he needs to continue to be aggressive.
Yeah. And everybody's like, "Well, his aggressiveness is going to cause him to get burned." I says, "Trust me, his aggressiveness is going to cause a couple of turnovers, and when it does, they're not going to go his direction as often."
Yep, his technique was a lot better in the postseason. Go ahead, Sean.
Absolutely was. Sorry, Sean.
No, you're good. I said, Mr. Greek, when you talk about Sean Murphy-Bunting, I was 2 years ahead of you. When he was drafted, I was texting my boys. So I'm like, listen, I think we have a steal. Because obviously, one of the big names, and I want to say this to all the fans out there listening, don't get caught up in what Mel Kiper and Daniel Jeremiah and all those guys are saying. Because everybody, why didn't we pick Greedy Williams? Oh, by the way, there were 8 cornerbacks picked before Greedy Williams. But when we picked Sean Murphy-Bunting, why did they do that? Because that guy in college was a playmaker. He was making plays like that in college. And oh, by the way, he reminds me of Rondé Barber. So as a rookie, he led all rookies with interceptions.
That's a hell of a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. He led all rookies with interceptions. And then he led the team, the Bucks, with 3 interceptions last year. So, yes, this year, did he get off to a slow start? He did. But the guy, he probably lost his confidence a little bit, and that happens when you're a young player. But he continued to fight. He studies. And that's why I said he reminds me of Rondé Barber. He studies, and he takes well to coaching. And so for him to step up like he did, and I'm glad you pointed it out midway through the season, don't give up on this young man. You showed it because in the big moments when the lights came on, he was not a cockroach. He stayed there and he shined. He did not run from the light. And that's only going to help him moving forward. And that's why I think the Bucs have set themselves up in a great position. One thing I will also say about this signing with Ndamukong Suh, I heard a lot of people today talking about, will this team repeat? And nobody want to say, yeah, well, they got a great shot. We don't know. Well, injuries is a great equalizer, or maybe the defense is getting a little older. JPP, Sue, Levante David. The Bucs have set themselves up to wherein they can handle injuries. Not only are they good from their frontline guys, but everybody underneath them, their depth is so good. So we have people that can step in for when if JPP gets hurt. That's the only position that I'm worried about. Our edge rushing. Everything else, tight end, offensive line, running back, wide receivers. You have everything you need in order to repeat. And if we do have a couple injuries here and there, this team is still going to be strong because
absolutely.
You got Tom Brady as your quarterback, but you have depth and quality depth.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to suffer from the edge rusher just primarily because of the fact that they did re-sign Ndamukong Suh, and you do have Vita Vea. And God willing, Vita Vea stays healthy, you can take a mediocre edge rusher and make them look dynamite. I can tell you one thing, with those two in the front, the linebacker should never even see a guard touch their jersey.
That's it. That's what it comes down to. And again, both of those guys in the middle free up the outside. And look, if you want to draft a young edge guy with that 32nd pick in the draft, you can definitely do that and develop them eventually if you want them to take the place of a
Without
JPP.
question.
So, I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good problem to have.
Sean, what else you got, buddy? Because we're going to have to wrap this up.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and go with this. The Bucs are in a position to just draft the best player available.
Yep, that's what I've been saying.
And I love the guy. You know, I text Spider this weekend. The guy I like the cornerback out of Northwestern. If he's there,
Good player.
I would definitely look at him. Obviously, NTN falls. Now, if we get Leonard Fournette back, we don't need to get NTN, but I'm keeping my eye on that cornerback.
I think ATN's going to go in the top 15.
I think he could too, but yeah, people keep on saying he's going to drop because of you don't draft necessarily a running back in the high first round. But
this is a special kid.
Yeah,
he's almost Saquon Barkley.
Maybe
Not
a Najee
quite.
Harris could be there at 32. Yep. You're okay with a Najee Harris if the Bucks lose a Leonard Fournette, Sean?
Sean, you there?
I think we lost Sean.
I think we lost Sean. Sean, anyway, I appreciate you calling in. That was great.
We'll read the rest of these comments and then we'll get out of here.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And
you said
I got to do this one again. Why is Ray always streaming in the streets at night? He loves Nebraska Avenue a little too much. That's probably my comment of the night.
Oh, jeez.
That could be the comment of the
Sure,
year.
Absolutely.
Bucks time 12. Take a walk on the wild side with Tampa Bay Ray. I'll let you have this one.
16-0 is not undefeated in a 17-game season. Well, you got to have a bye week. I guess you guys missed that. I may watch a USA men's and women's basketball, but other than that, I really don't watch any basketball. Wow.
That's
I miss out.
Bucks time 12. Later, Jacob. Bucks time 12. Barmore going to drop to us because of Warren Sapp's comments.
Love it. Christian Barmore, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. Yes. I like him a lot. I like to see the Bucks get him at 32 if it's possible. So, good show, man.
You know what? It wasn't bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. The over-under.
I'm Harry the Greek. Thank you for tuning in for the over-under. Please catch us next Wednesday at 9 p.m. But I'll tell you what, Peter, tell them where they can find you this week.
Well, definitely you can find me on the sports web, the evolution of Sports Talk Television, live here on Friday night at 9 o'clock on Bucks Report. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. We'll see you on Friday on the evolution.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a great evening. Keep your bets low and your returns really high. And let's have some fun.